farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world, brutalized. Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad, and then it gets up to 275, 300%. So when they're figuring what's Canada charging, they say, oh, about 2%, 3%. But take a look at what happens down the road. When you look a little bit, it's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And with countries like Canada, you know, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year. And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say, you got to work for yourselves, and you got to, this is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that amount of debt that's been placed on our heads over the last number of years, and we're really not taking it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union bans imports of most American poultry. You understand? They say, we want to send you our cars, we want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything that you have. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want it because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight, I would say. And China charges American rice farmers an overquota, it's called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges 50, actually they charge different, from 50% to 513%. And Japan, our friend, charges us 700%, but that's because they don't want us selling rice and other things. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? Agriculture, great job you did on eggs, by the way. The egg prices came down 50%. You got them down 50%. Once we got involved, they were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job. Now we have lots of eggs, and they're much cheaper, down about 59% now, and they're going down further. We charge 2.8% for so many things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, and 400% for. If imposing tariffs and protective barriers made nations poor, then every country on earth would be racing to eliminate these policies, and China would be the first on line. They run a very strong country, but they're not first in line, and the American people are paying a very big price. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to give it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system, that's rather intricate, was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries. We used to do it. We can't do it anymore. We take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of them any longer. But we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first. And I'm sorry to say that. And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first. In Sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States hemorrhaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. It was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst deal, worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting tax on it. You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick. We have a tremendous problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it. We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally. In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people, very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off with your salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because worker, whether union or non-worker, they're for the Republicans now. That's what happened. But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thanks, Howard. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything, but now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually, they're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough, great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars, you know, little items like cars. 46%, we're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough, very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left. And he's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing for years and years and decades. And it was only 7 years ago when I came in, we started with China and charged them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs. And they understood, honestly. President Xi understood. He said, look, I understand. And the other countries, and they all understand. We're going to have to go through a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic man. He was unfortunately taken from us, assassination. But I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. A trade is not fair. And he said, I know that, I know that. And he was a great gentleman. He was a fantastic man, but he understood immediately what I was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left in the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something. If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia, 97%. We're going to bring it down to 49. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%, and they've got some bad things going on in South Africa. You know, we're paying them billions of dollars, and we cut the funding because a lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. The fake news ought to be looking at it. They don't want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking not the full, we could take the full 88%. Thanks a lot, Aaron. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing, all right? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long. He's going to put it, it's going to follow you down with the wind. I brought a hat just in case it got too windy, but here, would anybody like a hat? I'm not giving it to a cabinet. I'm giving it to the auto workers. Come here. Thank you, fellas. Get it. That's it. That's it. They deserve it more than our cabinet. Our cabinet has plenty of hats. But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart? And that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to have a minimum of cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's been a lot of bad things happening at the gate because the money is so enormous that you're talking about. There's never been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity, and there are a lot of bad things happen at the people that do the check-in, and they're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they do play. We're going to treat them so good, but if they cheat, the repercussions are going to be extremely strong. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us, but so much of it slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise was made, and it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept. To any company that objects to our common sense reciprocal tariffs, again, reciprocal, back and forth, back and forth. And I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal. But what we do is we cut it in half. We charge them. My answer is very simple if they complain. If you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America. And we've seen companies coming in like we've never seen before. Likewise to all of the foreign presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, ambassadors, and everyone else who will soon be calling to ask for exemptions from these tariffs. I say, terminate your own tariffs, drop your barriers, don't manipulate your currencies. They manipulate their currencies like nobody can even believe, which is a bad, bad thing and very devastating to us. And start buying tens of billions of dollars of American goods. Tariffs give our country protection against those that would do us economic harm. And many people were looking to do us economic harm. Maybe not so obviously, but they were doing tremendous economic harm. But even more importantly, they will give us growth. These tariffs are going to give us growth like you haven't seen before, and it'll be something very special to watch. I am so looking forward, and Brian, it's going to happen even faster than you said. You know, you might say, but it's already started. It's already started. Work's already begun on plants all around the country, and you see that as before. These are big, rich companies. We have $61 billion started on a big plant going up. It's going to be announced over the next 2 days, and they already started work. Many of these the biggest companies in the world, they've committed to build, build, build. We're going to build, 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 sir. And they came here to see me, and they wanted to know if they could have a press conference. I do as many as I can. I'm pretty busy trying to stop Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. We got to stop that. We got to stop the Houthis, which we're making tremendous. They like shooting ships down and out of the water, sinking ships. They get a kick out of it, but they're not getting such a kick out of it now, are they, Mr. Secretary? They're not getting such a kick out of that now. But here are just a short list of some of the companies that have already announced and committed to investment. And this is a company that built its factories and its plants in China. Apple is going to spend $500 billion. They never spent money like that here. They're going to build their plants here. SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle, great companies, are investing $500 billion almost immediately. NVIDIA, a hot company, is investing hundreds of billions of dollars. They just announced. TSMC, the biggest, most important company in the world of chips from Taiwan, with no investment from us, is investing $200 billion. And they said the reason was, number one, the election of November 5th, and number two, the tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and the way they're not paying it is to build their plant here. So we're going to go from almost no percentage. We used to have 100% of the chip market. Now it's all in Taiwan. Almost all of it's in Taiwan, a couple of other countries, but mostly in Taiwan. And think of it, we had 100%. We lost it because of people in that office that didn't do their job. They allowed it to be stolen from us. Johnson & Johnson, great company, $55 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Meta is investing $500 billion. Wow. DeMac is investing $20 billion. CMA, CGM, $20 billion. And then you have Merck and Clarios, Stellantis, General Motors, GE Aerospace, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai are all putting in billions and billions of dollars, and they're committed 100%. So. And we've never had, and this is after 2.5 months. This is after just a short, this all took place as soon as we came out with what everybody wanted to do. You know, I watched a gentleman today on television, used to work with Lee Iacocca, a very respected automobile person, and he said, you know, because they're asking people, and they try and get as many negative people as they can, but they can't find them too much. It's pretty hard to find in terms of what we're doing, especially when they see all this investment. They said, so tell me, what do you think of what Trump is doing from the automobile standpoint? He said, I can't believe it. Somebody is finally, he's an older guy, real pro, really top guy, with Lee Iacocca. He said, I never thought I'd see the day when this would happen, where somebody had the courage to go and do what has to be done. This is transforming our nation. Our entire nation is going to be transformed, not only with the cars, but on every single other item that's built. We're going to become an industrial powerhouse. And he said that so beautifully today. In fact, I'm going to find out, I'm going to get a tape, and Bruce, I'm going to get that tape, and I'm going to send it to you out in Long Island, and you're going to play it for the people. And all your union workers and your non-union workers out there, you got a pretty even split. But we have, so far, it looks like we're going to have about $6 trillion of investments, and you wouldn't do that in years in this country over the last number of years. $6 trillion, and that's going to be much higher by the end of the year. And think of what $6 trillion is. You wouldn't have even a small percentage of that under this other system. We're going to be an entirely different country, and it's going to be fantastic for the workers. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. There will never have been a transformation of a country like the transformation that's already happening in the United States of America. It's an incredible thing to watch, and it's incredible to meet with the top people, people that you read about, very wealthy people, or people that are great managers and executives and presidents of big public companies, and to watch the enthusiasm they have now that they didn't have. They gave up on our country. They went to foreign countries and they built. Companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow, and it's really beautiful. In the coming days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special interests and the fake news. Always, the fake news will always complain. But never forget, every prediction our opponents made about trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. They were wrong about NAFTA. They were wrong about China. They were wrong about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs. It was all going to other countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And again, I have great respect for President Xi of China, great respect for China, but they were taking tremendous advantage of us, and I commend them for that. I say, hey, if you can get away with it, that's okay. But, you know, they understand exactly what's happening, and they probably, most of them are saying it's about time they did something, but, and they're going to fight, and they're going to fight fair. Everyone's going to fight. You know, it's like, I say to the leaders, look, you got to take care of your country, but we have to start taking care of our country now. We can't do what we've been doing for the last 50 years. From the day of my election, the stock market went up in my first term 88%, with NASDAQ going up 155%, more than any president has ever had in any term in office, by far. And I think we're going to blow that away. And maybe the numbers won't show, but I think they're going to show much better than even those numbers. But what you're going to see is you're going to see activity, that empty, dead sites, factories that are falling down. Those factories will be knocked down, and they're going to have brand new factories built in their place. They're not only talking about renovating, they're talking about brand new, the best anywhere in the world, the biggest anywhere in the world. I have a friend who builds car plants, and I said, I want to see the biggest and the best. He said, well, we have to go to Mexico. I said, no, I want to see it in the United States. He said, we're not building them in there. This is a year and a half ago during the campaign. He said, we're not building it. You'd have to go to Mexico. When I was starting to decide to run, and I went to #1 in the polls very rapidly, I want to say, like, let's say in the first hour. And then shortly thereafter, it looked like I was going to win, and the fake news was saying, oh, no, don't do this. What they don't know is if I didn't win, they would have really been in trouble, because nobody wants to read them anyway. But I tell you what, when it looked like I was going to win, I announced that I was going to be doing exactly what we're talking about today. Great consistency, actually, because I've been talking about it for 40 years. But because I saw what was happening 40 years ago. If you look at my old speeches when I was young, very handsome, my old speeches, and that people would say, I'd be on a television show, I'd be talking about how we were being ripped off by these countries. I mean, nothing changes very much. The only thing that changed were the countries, but nothing really changes. But it's why it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be finally able to do this. If you look at China, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in my term, hundreds of billions. They never paid 10 cents to any other president, and yet they paid hundreds of billions, so much so that Biden couldn't do anything. They wanted to try and terminate it because he had a very special relationship with China. You know what the relationship was? He had a special relationship. But the numbers were so big, that they couldn't do it. So they did ease it up. They did things that they shouldn't have done. They made it a lot more comfortable for them, but they couldn't do it because the numbers were hundreds of billions of dollars, and I did that. And we were on our way to doing something like incredible. And then we had a very bad election happen, a very bad election. A lot of bad things happened. So when I said we got to do it again, I said we have to make it too big to rig. And we made it too big to rig, and we won in records, and it was a monumental win. And it was such an honor to see so many of you, like Brian and your friends, here with us to celebrate, and to more importantly celebrate what we're doing, because that wouldn't be a full celebration if we didn't do this, because this will be an entirely different country in a short period of time. It'll be something the whole world will be talking about it. The critics made the very tired predictions earlier this year, but in February, core inflation dropped to the lowest rate in 4 years. And the price of eggs, as you know, just in a month and a half, we were there for 4 weeks. And the first week, I got blamed for eggs. I said, I just got here. They said eggs have gone up at like 250%, and you can't get eggs. And they were going crazy. And I said, I just got here. And then we got to work on eggs, and we got to work on everything. And our great Secretary of Agriculture, you did a fantastic job. Brooke Rollins, she did a fantastic job. And as I said before, the price of eggs dropped now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much, Brooke. You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot, and energy costs now are down, groceries are down, gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down. We created 10,000 already in a few weeks, new manufacturing jobs. And it was that took place in 1 month, numbers that they haven't seen in a long time. We had virtually no inflation under my term. We had virtually no inflation for 4 years, but after transitioning over to Sleepy Joe, It went from almost non-existent to the highest in the history of our country. They're the highest inflation in the history of our country, brought up by energy and bad spending and bad policy, and a lot of bad things happened. How about allowing millions and millions and millions of people to pour into our country with open borders, where it's so sad to see even now. And I see our great secretary you have done. Stand up, please, Christy. Stand up. Christy Nome and Tom Homan. These people are doing a great job, but gotten them out in records. We have problems with judges that don't want them to go out. They want Tren de Aragua, and they want MS-13, the most vicious gangs ever. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Absolute killer gangs. They kill people. They don't even think about it. And we put them out, and we have judges now, radical left judges that they don't want them to go out. They want them to even be brought back. Let's bring them back. You've done a fantastic job, and please thank everybody. Homeland Security, thank everybody. Appreciate it. And we now have a border that's the best border that we've ever had, even better than it was my first term. My first term we did good, but this one we really specialized in. We've done really well. And we had records then. We had the best, safest border. 4 years ago, we had the best border there ever was. And now we have, you've actually matched it and done even better. And we're going to get it down the right way. And we want people, by the way, to come into our country, but we want to come in through a legal process. We want them to come in legally. We need more people. We need people to run these plants and to help the auto workers and the Teamsters and the non-union people and everybody else. But we need people, and the farmers. And we're going to let people come in, but they want to come in. We want them to come in legally. They have to have the capability of loving our country, not people that hate our country. We don't want them in our country. And now we're going to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that's where we're relying on Mike and John Thune. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and the Democrats will, because if they got in, the entire economy would collapse. This country was heading for a collapse under the people that you saw. They were horrible. I think one of the reasons people like the job, I have my highest approval ratings because I think they're comparing me to the worst administration in the history of our country, so I appreciate that at least. But Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader, appreciate it, Mike. John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. I'd like to name it that if you can. One big, I made that statement about 6 months ago, and everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill. And it will be that. It'll have everything, the big tax cuts and every incentive there is. And it'll be fantastic. And by the way, for the cars, we're asking for an interest deduction on a loan. So if you build the car, only in America we do it, Brian. If the car's not built in America, you don't get the interest rate deduction. But if you build the car in America, if you buy a car, if it's built in America, then you get an interest rate deduction, tax deduction, and that's a big thing. That's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to pay for itself very quickly, that deduction. Never happened. We've never had anything like that before. Somebody said, where do you get the idea? Because it's so basic. You would think that would have happened a long time ago. It never did, and I'm very happy it didn't, because now I can say that was my idea. But we're going to get us closer to the debt extension. We have to get the debt extension passed, and I know you're going to be able to do that, Mike, and it's very important that you do that. And all of the other things that the Senate budget plan gives us, along with working, because I know they're working together, John and Mike, and the two bills are going very well together. We need to get our shared priorities done, including certain permanent tax cuts. We want the tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, border, and so much more. We're covering everything. These will be phenomenal. There'll be no bill like this going to straighten. One bill is going to straighten out our country for many, many years to come. And we said, let's just do it and let's get it done. And some guys will love it and some guys will like it a little bit less because they're not getting what they were exactly looking for, but they're getting a lot. They'll never, if we get this done, it'll be the most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress and Senate. and congressmen, the senators and the congressmen, many of whom are here today, will be very proud of themselves. I really believe that it's going to set us on a whole new prosperous path. We're going to cut spending and right-size the budget back to where it should be. We're going to do that very strongly. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. John, thank you. Oh, look at all of our senators over there. Oh, boy, that's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done. That's a great group. And Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous people. The Senate plan is my complete and total support, and the House plan, likewise, is very similar. They're moving along pretty much at the same time.
And we've been listening as President Trump there in the Rose Garden right there at the White House announcing major tariffs, taking the opportunity to bash countries around the world and former presidents in this country for the past 50 years for allowing what he calls horrendous imbalances in trade and in tariffs. And so, starting very soon, he is getting ready to impose tariffs on foreign cars and parts, 25% from anywhere. And then he's also announcing 10% at least tariffs on all countries. And then what he calls the worst offenders, the bigger tariffs, they're going to be 34% for China, India 26%, Japan 24%, the EU 20%. Taiwan, 32%. He promised this would be big. It has gotten a lot of people's attention. Let's go to Weijia Jiang at the White House. He called this a national emergency, Weijia. Can you put this into some kind of context for us?
Yeah, Maurice, so this was the president's very first event during his second term in the Rose Garden, which speaks to just how important this is to him. He had all the pomp and circumstance. He was surrounded by members of his cabinet. And of course, he brought in workers from the steel and automobile industry to make his case, Maurice, that this is going to be what he calls the golden age of America. Because his theory is that if you tack on these tariffs to imports into America, well, companies here don't want to pay that. And so they are going to boost manufacturing. They're going to buy American and not want to pay the rates that you are seeing on your screen, Maurice. Now, what we did not know is exactly what countries would be impacted and the rate. And we know now that the administration used a formula to calculate what they are calling the total sum of all unfair trade practices. Now, that includes currency manipulation, tariff barriers, and of course, what these countries charge on American exports. So you can see here for China as the top example, 67%. Half of that is 34%, because President Trump says he wants to be, quote, kind to the world. So he is not going to impose the full 100% tit for tat, but 50% of that sum. And in addition to that, Maurice, it's important to note that what we were not expecting today was a 10% tariff on all countries. So whether, they are a part of this worst offenders group, as the administration calls, or not, there will be a 10% tariff. And of course, it's notable, I think, that he's making this announcement after the closing bell. We have been reporting for so many weeks, Maurice, about how the uncertainty of this has already rattled the stock market and certainly consumer confidence. So as we take all of this in, it'll be critical to watch the response, not only here, but globally.
Okay, Weijia Jiang at the White House, you are absolutely right. It is a big bet. And joining me now is Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, we're getting reaction in after-hours trading. It's key to note that he did this after the markets closed at 4 o'clock. So what's the reaction you're seeing, and what are people going to have to deal with going forward?
Yeah, Weijia was very, very right to note that. So I was just looking at a couple of the companies that really rely on that global supply chain. So they are relying on countries like China and Taiwan. NVIDIA, right? Big AI stock.
Huge.
That's one of them. They get all their chips from Taiwan. So when you've got a 32% tariff being charged there, that is why the stock is down. Apple also, where do we get our iPhones from? China. Big tariff on that. And so that's why you're seeing the after-hours trading go down. 3 takeaways that I want to give you. One is how investors are going to react going forward. Because, maybe this is just a little blip we're seeing in after-hours trading. Maybe. But uncertainty has been the word of this quarter along with tariffs. And so we haven't heard from the president in his speech today that this is the end. He has sort of teased in the past, maybe pharmaceuticals, lumber. I think you might see more investor skittishness if there's
uncertainty, right?
Yes, exactly. Also, you have companies that are probably going to have to invest billions of dollars in manufacturing here in the U.S. For investors, that's not a short-term good thing for the bottom line. There's undeniable benefits long-term, a global supply chain being here, more American jobs, but investors are worried about the short term. You also mentioned consumers.
The everyday person looking at this, oh my gosh.
Exactly. What's
These are
going
numbers
on
being
Main
thrown
Street?
around all over the place.
Right.
What does it mean to everyday people?
Well, one, it's going to likely scare people, right? And we've already seen that in some of the consumer sentiment data that we've talked about, that people have cited anxiety about what tariffs could do to prices. You hear numbers like this, very curious to see reaction from consumers in those next surveys, how they're feeling about it. The real impact, though, is going to be in prices. If companies decide to pass that massive import tax on, that they are paying, by the way, not the countries on, prices are going to go higher. And the final thing that I want to note is what happens to the economy, because let's pull this all together. And weirdly enough, I'm going to ask for a chart that our lovely control team just pulled up, because this shows how Wall Street sees the pains that Main Street could have. There are a couple of dates on here. We never saw the biggest drops on days where there were tariff announcements. We saw them on the days where there were consumer confidence and it was deteriorating or inflation was negative. And so when you put this all together, you could have a growth problem, and that's where investors and consumers are going to be watching.
One more quick point. He talks about how this is going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Does that happen overnight?
It does not. It does not. It takes years. It takes billions of dollars.
We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, Kelly, thank you so much. Let us go now to CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Joling Kent. Joling, big question here. How's all of this going to be actually implemented?
Maurice, we didn't have a lot of clarity when it comes to implementation, but President Trump did say this, that he wants to be, quote, very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in. And that's a quote. He also went on to say there are a lot of bad things that happen at the people that do the check-in, and he mentioned
Now at 5, a local congresswoman at the center of controversy over millions of missing dollars. And today, the lawyers for her family's company and the state met.
Plus, an illegal immigrant who was deported makes his way back into Marin County to the jail for allegedly molesting a teenage girl.
What the are you doing?
A horn-tattooed suspect caught creeping around a Jensen Beach apartment complex.
This is CBS 12 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Liz Quirantes.
And I'm Lily Ortiz. Jim has a night off.
Just moments ago, President Donald Trump announced sweeping reciprocal tariffs on nations across the world.
Yeah, the president calling today one of the most important days in American history before he signs the executive order. The president spoke from the Rose Garden, announcing today is our Declaration of Economic Independence.
Included in the controversial plan, tariffs of at least 10% on practically all goods coming into the United States. Rates on dozens of countries that have the highest trade deficit with the U.S., like China and the European Union. The Trump administration is charging who he's calling the worst offenders a tariff at half the rate they charge the U.S. That will go into effect a week from today. The president is also imposing a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles. That will go into effect at midnight.
President Trump says that he is taking a stand and is, quote, finally putting America first.
The Trump administration says altogether its tariffs could bring in $6 trillion of revenue over a decade. But economists warn this could lead to higher prices for consumers. Wall Street swinging in the final hours of trading before President Trump's tariff announcement. The Dow Jones gaining 235 points today. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 also closed in positive territory. Now to the ongoing investigation into a local congresswoman's business affairs before she was elected. Problems that have come to light about overpayments of state tax money to the company she ran prior to her running for office. have overshadowed everything that she's done since.
And Sheila Sherfilis McCormick ran her family's company, Trinity Healthcare Services, during the pandemic. And in 2021, Trinity was one of the many companies all across the state hired to register people for and administer the COVID-19 vaccine. The state says that the Department of Emergency Management accidentally overpaid Trinity nearly $6 million.
A few months ago, the state sued Trinity to get that money back. And at the same time, the Office of Congressional Ethics on Capitol Hill is investigating issues around how the Riviera Beach Congresswoman financed her campaign to replace the late Alcee Hastings. Over the past few months, when we have gone to her events to get answers about what happened to those millions, she has stonewalled and walked away.
Now, the Congresswoman's family company, which she no longer runs, the states are in mediation. But if that fails, they could be headed for an ugly court battle.
Our I-Team Chief Mike Magnoli is live in our newsroom. And Mike, what can you tell us about the mediation session that was happening today between lawyers for the state and lawyers for Trinity Healthcare?
Hey there, Liz and Luli. So far, both sides being very quiet about what's happening in these mediation sessions. No word from either side, but I can tell you who some of the players are. So Edwin Sherfilis and 3 lawyers defending Trinity Healthcare are involved in these conversations. Edwin is Sheila's brother, and he is the current CEO of the company. He took over when his sister started her campaign for Congress. So let's talk some more about what's happening in these talks. Trinity Healthcare is based in Broward County, but this lawsuit is filed in Leon County. That's because that's where Tallahassee is located, and this is the state going after millions that it claims Trinity didn't pay back. It's noteworthy that the state says in court paperwork about today's mediation that the attorney who represents the Department of Emergency Management has the full authority to settle this matter. That means that Trinity in the state could be talking right now about a deal in this mediation. That might be some kind of payment plan. Now, I've put in calls to all of the parties today trying to get an update on where things stand. I will tell you as soon as we get word, we will bring that to you on all platforms. Send it back to you in the studio.
An alleged child molester is off the streets tonight, accused of preying on a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, but here's what's more disturbing right now. Police saying that he's been deported before and somehow he made his way back into the United States.
CBS 12's Katie Benty is live outside the Stuart Police Department with the details. Katie?
Yeah, Liz, Luli, this is every parent's worst nightmare. Stuart police say that a 14-year-old girl found the courage to tell her mom that she was touched inappropriately by a man living under the same roof as them. Now, today that man was arrested, and police say he should have never been here to begin with.
47-year-old Apolinar Lopez Honorado seen handcuffed sitting in the back of a Stuart police car Wednesday morning. Officers say just days ago, a mother called police after her 14-year-old daughter confided in her about an upsetting encounter with Honorado.
The mother explained to Stuart police officers on the scene that the daughter reported some inappropriate touching that took place.
Detectives say Honorado was living in the same house as the victim's family, renting a separate room inside. And here's where this case takes another turn. Investigators say Honorado is in the U.S. illegally, and this isn't the first time.
What I do know is simply that he has been deported in the past. That we do know. Where he's from, how long ago he was deported, I don't have that information.
Police have alerted U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They say his illegal re-entry raises questions about how he was able to return after being deported. Meanwhile, detectives are encouraging parents to talk to their kids because there could be more victims.
I mean, kudos to this 14-year-old girl for coming forward and talking to her mom. Because if she didn't do that, who knows how this could have escalated.
Now, Honorado is currently behind bars at the Martin County Jail facing child molestation charges. Reporting live in Stuart, I'm Katie Benty, CBS 12 News.
An Alabama man is behind bars in Martin County after the sheriff says he tried to break into several homes on Hutchinson Island, and the moment he was caught by homeowners was captured on surveillance cameras. Take a look.
What the going on? What the are you doing?
Yeah, CBS 12's Al Pefley reports that this guy has very distinctive tattoos, including horns on each side of his face and head. And that's just the beginning of all this crazy story. Al.
When a guy with devil horn tattoos came to one of the condos here at the Dune around midnight, he found the front door was unlocked. But he didn't get any further before he was confronted by a couple with a shotgun, and we've got the video of that.
It was scary. It was really, really scary.
Lisa says she and her husband Chris were in bed at around midnight Wednesday morning when she heard someone opening the front door.
So when you open it,
that's what she heard.
And that's what I heard.
She got up to see what was going on and discovered a guy with devil horns tattooed on his head.
I heard something, and then the camera little ding went off, and I walked out of my bedroom, and I see this scary devil looking in my window, and I screamed, and I just ran to the door, and my husband was right behind me, and we chased them away. My husband had a shotgun. I screamed at him.
Sheriff's officials say the suspect she saw peering through her window is 46-year-old Jonathan Richards, a convicted sex offender from Alabama. Authorities say Richards tried a number of front doors in the gated community that night.
He was trying to get in apartments with unlocked doors.
At least 2 people called 911 and deputies converged on the neighborhood. With the help of a canine deputy and his dog Grohl, they caught Richards not far away.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad dude, and I'm glad we were able to take him into custody. And he's lucky he was taken into custody. He almost got shot by a homeowner.
I'd rather just hit him in the head with the gun. I wouldn't want to ever have to shoot anybody.
Chris, a retired iron worker, said he never expected to find a tattooed felon on his doorstep, but he's glad he was prepared.
People need to be armed, and there's a lot of dangerous criminals around, and it doesn't matter if you're in a little cushy gated community or wherever you live, you could be a victim. I'm just glad that I reacted the way I did, and that my husband reacted the way. We're a team, so where I go, he goes. Where he goes, I go. It was unbelievable.
When he was first spotted in this area, Richards had a couple of large backpacks with him, but he did not have them when sheriff's deputies arrested him. Sheriff's officials are asking any homeowner in this area who finds a large backpack to call them because they feel it could be filled with stuff taken from other homeowners in the area. In Jensen Beach, Al Peffley, CBS 12 News.
A man is now accused of hiding the murder weapon in a deadly Lake Worth Beach shooting nearly 2 years ago. 28-year-old Denzel Cross is accused of hiding the gun used in the murder, although he's not accused of pulling the trigger. On May 5th, 2023, Palm Beach County deputies found a man dead from a gunshot wound to the head and chest on South 8th Street and 8th Avenue. Witnesses say another man named Jason Nazitine allegedly demanded money from the victim while wearing a ski mask. After a physical altercation, Nazistine allegedly shot the victim. He was arrested just a few days later. Both face multiple charges.
All right, well, a man is facing animal cruelty charges after he allegedly beat his roommate's dog with a trailer hitch. We want to warn you, the images you're about to see may be disturbing. Palm Beach County deputies saying this man, Gabriel Martinez, that suspect attacked his roommate's 4-year-old female pit bull that you're looking at right now, named Gypsy. Now, deputies say that he repeatedly struck the dog with that metal hitch for about 4 minutes. The roommate discovered the dog just lying down on the ground with severe injuries in its paws. Martinez is now in the Palm Beach County Jail on a $50,000 bond. We're told Gypsy is back home, recovering, and on some pain meds.
All right, let's turn to weather. It's another warm day outside.
That's right, and our Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed is here. These temperatures, V, are they here to stay?
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see pretty nice conditions out there. You take a look, we're seeing beautiful sunshine right now as we're seeing that sunrise, and it looks like we're seeing nice clear conditions as we go through the afternoon, and it looks like we're going to continue to see very nice clear conditions around here. Just a little pop-up shower, but where it is not quiet is the midsection of the country. We're looking at a very volatile weather outbreak as we look across the midsection of the country, the Mississippi Delta. 5 out of 5, that pink shaded area down towards towards Memphis and including Paducah, down towards southern Illinois, Carbondale, stretching down to Little Rock. There's going to be long track tornadoes, large hail, flooding that can occur, and lots of lightning. These storms are firing off as we speak. So we're looking at enhanced up to high risk. It's very rare that we get those high risk categories, but this is going to be a very damaging situation. These storms are stretching from Detroit all the way down to Dallas with the potential for severe storms as we go through the evening. So a lot of the severe weather. We're already looking at tornadoes that are warned right now around the Memphis area, western Tennessee, and you see through central Illinois, through eastern portions of Missouri, and northern portions of Arkansas. I'm going to have more on this and talk more about the severe outlook coming up.
All right, well, more and more healthcare workers subject to violence. The union now raising an alarm. A story like we have been reporting far too much often this year. Another incident at a patient assaulting staff at a local hospital. This time, a patient at JFK North Hospital in West Palm Beach was seen assaulting 2 nurses over the weekend. West Palm Beach police arresting this man, Stephen Schachter, on Saturday after officers learned that he shoved 2 female nurses in the psychiatric unit. Both nurses told officers that Schachter appeared agitated and tried calming him down before he attacked them. Surveillance footage allegedly showed Schachter intentionally hitting both nurses in the common area. He's now being held at the county jail on a $10,000 bond.
This most recent attack and others that have happened in our community recently prompted us to start digging into violence in local hospitals. We've learned the Florida Hospital Association, which represents more than 200 hospitals in the